to a woman, and some claim she is flirting too close to the sun with this bi energy she's been giving, but I would argue that she's just really into mustaches, especially when she wears them. It's Jen Mounts.
That's very fair. I can't even be mad at that one. Nobody loves a cross dress like this girl, or like a cosmetic grade, movie grade mustache. I've been buying really expensive ones lately.
You've been crushing your mustache game. It's amazing.
Okay, that was lovely, Nick. Guys, Nick Teixeira is back for episode 8. And he is a man who has spent 10 years throwing darts, and he's still treating hit the board like a loose suggestion. You're watching Pointed Questions with Nick and Jen. Yay!
Oh, you evil, wicked woman. It's a pleasure to be back with you for our 8th episode. 16 weeks of this podcast existing. Insane that we made it this far, farther than anybody thought we were going to make it. And frankly, we're one reel away from getting ourselves canceled for good, Jen. Oh, it's going to be a good episode here for episode 8. Today, we're going to cover some tummy issues and catch up on what's going on with the rest of our body. And on top of that, we're going to go right into the produce report special edition. It's the comment clapback. We're going to look at some of those comments from that USA Darts 122, 125 controversial clip. And we're also going to look back at the barrel sponsorship is a symptom video that I posted that got a couple people a little riled up here on the internet. After that, we're going to be playing a new game called Substance, where we're going to read some deep questions and get into some of our deepest, darkest, and juiciest secrets. After all that is said and done, we got the 7 deadly sins of running a dart tournament. What are the things you shouldn't do when running an event? We're going to cover all those and much, much more here in Pointed Questions, episode 8. Jen, how's the squirts?
Come on, Nick. First of all, I love how comprehensive you just got about my gut health, because the only context clue Nick has, by the way, for folks watching, is we run our show on a streaming software, right? And I typed in my name as Leaky Gut Jen. That is all Nick needed to know to go on this rant, so he knew what my life update was gonna be. And sadly, I literally just came home from the doctor, and this is top of the mind, so that's why I wrote that in. So first of all, if you have ever once been attracted to me, that's about to go out the window.
Or if it goes up, please stop watching, okay? I'm just saying.
I did a comprehensive stool sample through a company called Vibrant Wellness, and they have this thing called the Gut Zoomer, sexy, which
they used to call me the Gut Zoomer, let me tell you.
Exactly. I was like, did Nick invent this? You just do an advanced at-home stool test, and it's evaluating over 300 gut health markers, right? So I think it just uses DNA technology to analyze your microbiome balance, and it screens for gastrointestinal issues and just like functional medicine. It's trying to get down to the root cause of what's going on with you. If you have symptoms like bloating or IBS, so sexy again. So finally, I've been waiting with so much patience to get these results, because they took in my kit. First of all, even just doing
Do you hold the cup?
Dude, even just collecting the sample. It's not a cup. It's not a cup. It's like a parachute. It's like a parachute that you unfold.
It's like a Target bag, Oh, God. I don't know if I can do this episode.
Right out the gate, I'm starting, you guys. And there's some adhesive, and you stick it to the bowl of the toilet. And yeah, so I had psyched myself up. I had gotten the kit, and I was like, I'm not going to do this till I'm emotionally ready. And then you send it. And whoever's job it is at the lab to sort through this stuff, I feel so bad for you. You're just receiving a FedEx package of poo. Anyways, I finally got the results of my gut zoomer that I've been waiting for. And the main takeaway is I do appear to have AKA, leaky gut. And that should be my new nickname, Leaky Gut Jen. That's official for sure. So yeah.
I had some Five Guys earlier. Same thing. I didn't need to test for that. I just knew what happens when I order Five Guys.
So yeah, there's so much to say about that, but I've got to do an elimination diet. I have to subscribe to a bunch of supplements. It's not good. My pancreas doesn't produce the enzyme needed to process fat, and this is what I was suspicious of. So I'm real proud of myself. The first thing I said in my initial meeting of with my doctor. And she's in her 70s, by the way, and she's a sweetheart, but being in your 70s comes with a lot of quirks. And so, for one, she just, like, cannot work her phone or the laptop, like, technology, right? Brilliant doctor, helping me with my life. Takes 10 minutes just to, like, open up a tab, and I'm just sitting there in anticipation looking at all these red markers, like, these
Okay.
elevated, like, lines on this test. It's all real bad. And she when I first got to see her, she goes, "Just so you know, I'm gonna be stepping in and out of this appointment because a new member of the family is here. She's got 4 legs." "What's the breed of the puppy?" And it's an English Mastiff. Little puppers. She is 3 months old. She's already 30 pounds. Huge.
Wow.
Yeah, she's gonna be a big one. And so, yeah, she in the middle of my appointment discussing how fucked up my gut is, she goes, "Do you wanna see the puppy?" And I was like,
Speaking of
"Yes, I
things that
wanna
make
see the
you shit
puppy."
yourself, here's a dog.
I'm like, "Yes, I wanna see the puppy, but can we go back to my pancreas?" Like,
Yeah,
what's going on
can we
with
not
that?
2 for 1? How about the dog tells me about my pancreas? Is that an option? Can we do that?
Thank goodness she's like struggling with technology at a certain point. And so my wife Tirza always comes to every one of my appointments because emotional support, and she helps me like work through my
Hold the
anxiety.
bag.
And I do the same for
Oh.
her. Oh, she does not hold the bag. No, she was not. We preserve a little romance in our relationship. Thank you very much. Um, you and me don't, and the world doesn't
No,
with
this is
me.
raw. This is real.
I I want people to be less attracted to me, so this is why this is going down. Yeah, so Tirza at some point just looks at me at right in front of the doctor. She goes, "Your butt is whack." And I'm like, "Why would you say that?" And thankfully, my doctor looks up and goes, "Huh? What happened?" And I was like, "Nothing."
What if your doctor was like, "It is." Like,
It is.
it
It's
would be
fucking
game
whack.
over. It'd be game over for you and your butt related
Oh
confidence.
my god, dude. Seriously, this lab result is 45 pages long.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought you were gonna start reading it. I thought you were gonna be like, and I have 132 enzyme count.
Y'all want to know what's wrong with my intestinal lining and why stuff is leaking through? Like, sure, I'll tell
Subscribe to
you.
our Patreon where we show Jen's linings. Um, this is awful. We have
Yeah.
gotten so far from the reality. I just love every episode. I think, man, what are we going to put on the internet? And then I think about what we put on the internet. I'm like, I can't believe we said those things. And then
I
you
can
shit
believe it.
yourself every time.
No, it's not like that. It's not like that. It's just that I wanted to make sure that I set the bar really high so you don't come into this podcast feeling self-conscious and like you're
Mhm.
the wild card in this group. The wild card is me. You guys
Oh,
did not join in thinking this was going to happen. I can promise you that.
yeah.
But an hour ago I knew this is what I was going to be talking about today.
Much like that USA Arts clip, I'm surprisingly the normal one right now. That's so
Yeah.
funny.
Oh no, but you're a part of the group of the big bad USA commentators, the meanie weenies for sure. Your
The bullies.
collective group.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
the
can't wait to get
bullies.
into that one later on.
Mhm.
The stuff happening on the internet lately is crazy. Your wife said something about the internet being a cesspool of stupidity. God, it was an incredible
Unprompted.
moment. She just had the
Unprompted.
thoughts. She just tells us
Yeah.
what she's thinking.
No.
Those that don't know Tirza, she is not
Actually-
only employee of the month at Home Depot. She is also wise and says what she's thinking.
Actually, it was prompted because I was reading some of the comments from your guys' video to her, and I was just like getting worked up about it. And then I sent Nick the exact quote because it was just so brilliant. She just very calmly says to me, "The internet is the greatest cesspool of collective consciousness that has ever existed in the history of time." And I'm like, yeah.
It's
Yeah, that about sums
definitively
up.
true. Which
Yeah.
unless like we know and discover alien societies and stuff like that. I mean, definitively is also true, right? You can't even prove it wrong.
Yep.
It's funny when we see like our different videos and different shows. Like if we're on a different platform, then there's always a little bit of culture shock. But when our video goes and performs outside our current algorithm, whether it be this podcast, which had its moment, or beyond that, the USA Darts clip, you just see some people that you don't normally see tuning in, and they are not happy that you're there most of the time. It
Right.
is wild to me. I remember like being on the internet when I was younger, and I I was like always so worried about my algorithm. I never liked a video unless it was truly like the favorite thing I've seen that month. I wouldn't comment
Right.
in most comment sections, maybe occasionally a giveaway comment section on old OG YouTube days, but like I never commented. And it wasn't even like the, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all, which is still a good, by the way, mantra that I implore people to look into because Facebook seems to have just deleted that from people's brains. But like, I just don't get it. I don't get the desire of people just saying these shenanigans.
I mean, I feel like I have a basic understanding. It's when you have nothing. I mean, really, it always comes down to insecurity, right? I mean, if there's nothing positive, if you don't have great self-esteem, like it's very easy to kind of tear down the world around you, and not necessarily that you're intentionally trying to bring them down to your level, but I mean, think of the most vile things that have been said. They're often by pretty vile people who have
Mm,
pretty shaky ethics, who have pretty
mm.
poor history of behavior and the way they treat people. I mean, it's just natural. It's or the other end of that spectrum for me is people who say like the nastiest, most upsetting, most unnecessary mean things. They also have extreme paranoia. So they're
Mm.
just assuming all these people are thinking those things about them, and it's like kind of getting ahead of the problem, or they're trying to divert attention onto like the nice, innocent, whatever source. And I don't think there's a more innocent source really than something like USA Darts, who's doing such a niche thing, sports commentary for darts. Just a gang of guys and one gal who just likes to buddy up and make entertaining content. And you're trying to dispel some ignorance out there sometimes, and maybe it's not in the nicest way possible, but it's certainly constructive criticism. So that's my take on why people say the things they say.
Yeah, here's my thing. It could have been a group chat. Like, all I'm saying is like when Gordon goes on there and he rants about team names, Gordon Dixon, and he goes, "It could put on a shirt. It could have been a T-shirt." I think that about most comments. like if you have negative criticism, for the record, doesn't mean that your comments inherently one you shouldn't post. There's actually some great comments that are in the other direction, and that I absolutely understand where they're coming from on both these posts. But what I do see more than that is people that are just absolutely having unshakable, unfathomable opinions and projecting insecurity. Listen, when I see something that I really don't like, and sometimes you guys do get under my skin, you win. Sometimes you win. And you know what happens? Jen gets a phone call. Jasmine gets a phone
Exactly.
call. Will gets a phone call. Alejandro gets a phone call. Sometimes even Tommy's 2 minutes gets a phone call, which that boy, talked to him today, stressing over his 2 minute segment. He's like, the pressure's too much now. Uh,
No, this is so real. He has asked like coworkers advice of like what he should do, and like he's had not necessarily run some ideas by me, but I feel like he could just naturally do it without question. But yeah, he's a
After that
creative
skeleton
boy.
video, after anything's
Yeah.
possible with Tommy.
Yeah, he's
Love that
he's a
man.
creative, intelligent man, therefore putting self-induced pressure and stress onto this 2 minutes.
Speaking of Tommy, I heard that there was some people upset that you rated yourself a 7, but takes really good photos when you were trying to do your they're a 10 but segment. You said they're a 7, but they take really good dart photos and post them to social
Yeah,
media.
what's wrong
Um,
with that?
I heard that people don't think you're a 7. They either think
Oh,
you're
they
a
think
2
I'm a
or a
5.
10. Nope, no, you're like, well, actually, I don't know. You've talked a lot about shitting yourself already today, so it might have gone down or up. But you got to give yourself some proper roonies there, right? I mean, listen,
What?
Tommy's a 10, but takes sexy dart photos for sure. We already know that much.
I don't think it's self-deprecating to call myself a 7. I feel
You
like,
actually believe you're a 7.
well, okay, first of all, I don't believe in the system of giving a whole number. If we're going to truly buy into a ranking system, there needs to be a decimal point to the 10th.
Okay, I'm here. I'm here.
Let's nerd.
No,
Let's be
please keep
nerdy
going.
about it
Keep
first.
going. Yeah, keep going. Keep going. Please tell me about the Dewey Decimal
Secondly,
System of ranking.
secondly, can we normalize not inflating people's egos? I mean, it's ridiculous to call myself a 10. Can we all agree that would be insane? I think it would
There's
be
a lot of
self-deprecating. But
4s and 5s in my life for me to confidently say that you're above a 7.
Okay, can we call me a Kansas 10? Sure. No, I'm kidding. Well, I'm kidding.
Well,
Well,
Will's
I'm
not even a
kidding.
Kansas 10. He's
I'm more making fun of his state or any Midwest state, but no, guys, none of that matters. None of that matters. This is all so unserious. I don't care what anyone rates me. All I care is that my wife is attracted to me. And after today, that's on the rocks. But
when
she's
she has
she's
to hold
sticking
your
by my
poop
side.
shoe, I understand.
Shut up, man. Dude, I'm not having uncontrollable bowels. I just like eat some food that I'm intolerant to. Can we all chill? Like, I'm gonna correct this problem. I'm on a path. I'm drinking the
Well,
kombucha. I'm eating the kimchi. Everything's gonna be fine.
wasn't it just 2 episodes ago you talked about how you had to take a shit right before the episode started? I'm just
That was
saying.
last episode.
It was last
That
episode.
again, it was a normal bowel movement. It wasn't like it was suddenly so urgent. It was just a surprise one in the late afternoon. That doesn't often happen.
See, you're over here shitting yourself, and I'm over here learning how to hack an Xbox 360 in the year 2026. All right, we have different lives. We're not the same. Do you guys understand how hard it is to install my legally owned game backups over an FTP servers, the 360, so Alejandro and I can play Halo? I have a hard life. Okay, that
You're
is
doing
needed. Yeah.
You're doing that, and people are worried about me calling myself a 7. Can we all grow up? Come on.
Listen, I'm just saying, like, there's a like, especially like you're a Dart World 9 at least, right? Like you're Dart Community 9 by far.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Okay. Can we take looks out of the picture for a second because it's just too subjective. First of all, if you think I'm a
Sure.
5, you're homophobic and racist.
That's it. But
If you
specifically
think
about
I'm
your
a 10,
Kentucky part, they're racist towards.
if you think I'm a 10, you've just lived in too small of a world and you don't have access to the internet. Like, can we be so for real right now?
Okay.
Secondly,
Okay.
let's take looks out of the question for a second, or even personality and all that. Say this is something that drives me crazy. You want to talk about what grinds my gears? Let's throw in a
I'm
quick
here. I'm here.
bonus segment. I cannot stand it when someone is just simply above average at something, or they're like, perhaps they just have they're generally good at something, and someone's like, you're the most incredible singer I've ever heard in my life. And I don't think there's
Oh
anything
yeah.
wrong with
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with complimenting someone, but Jesus, we are way too over impressed by talent sometimes. Like, there is clearly a huge scale of talent, and to call someone like the greatest singer of all time, like, come on, guys. Like, I think I can carry a tune just fine. I do not think I'm a great singer. I don't think I'm an amazing instrumentalist. Like, there are just certain things like I'm just simply like maybe just like above average at whatever, and I don't take deep pride into my talent level because I haven't put in the time and effort to develop those skills. And sure, maybe you're just subjective and you like the tonality that I have or anyone else, but I technically am not a great singer. I don't have a good vocal range. I don't have amazing like breath control. I don't have ability to sing in different ways from different parts of my body. Like, I could go on, but like this kind of stuff drives me crazy. Like, just all chill out. Like, I can call myself a 7 and it could be so fine.
You know what? Spoken truly like a 5. Incredible work. Incredible. No, I
Thank you.
get it. I get where you're coming. Now, I will say, when people oversell a compliment, when people
Yeah.
oversell something, it's like, okay, let's roll it back, right? But to that same point, I think there's also like certain lenses of like, people are parasocial sometimes, and so therefore they have a certain connection and version of you where if that comment came exactly from a close friend, you would understand what they actually meant by that. For instance, like I think about like people that I've dated where I was like, I love it when you sing, but they're not a good singer, but I love the connection I felt when they sung, right? And so like, like, okay, none of you fucks in this chat right now that have been watching along with this Pointed Questions podcast, almost none of you know Jen well enough to harmonize with her when A World Is Ending comes on in the car and you sing and stun a whole family. That was a bond that none of you will get. None of you will get it. And so therefore, like, I have a particularly fondness, but like if I at any point I looked at you and said, Jen, you're the best singer in the world, I'm probably back to smoking weed. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like,
Thank you.
like that has to be the case. So, I think that it's okay to acknowledge exceptional things. I think you actually have a habit of not owning your wins enough. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. You don't roll your eyes at me one more time on this goddamn
Sorry.
podcast. I
I'm so
saw that.
sorry.
You
I'm
know,
doing the exact thing you're mad at me about. I'm so sorry.
yes, you are. But to that same point, it's one thing to learn to accept the compliment when it comes from a person in your life versus a comment section, right? You know, when I see on like one of your videos or one of the other female influencer videos, you're my dream girl. Like, you don't know shit. You don't know that Jin just had the poop shoot up. Okay, you didn't know that. Okay, so
And this is why I'm saying this to the world, to cut out a little bit of that. Like, you don't want to marry me. You don't know. Like, can we all just stop that behavior?
Conversely, anybody that wants to say that right now, comment about how much you want to marry me and I have the best singing voice. Like, I could use the win right now. Give it to me. I'll take it.
Okay. I didn't articulate this well enough. The reason I have such a problem with like overinflating or overselling a compliment is I think it discredits the true blood, sweat, and tears and commitment, a life commitment a person might have put into an extraordinary talent. A Whitney Houston, a Kelly Clarkson. Like, I mean, sorry, we probably need to get away from naming specifics because then we'll argue about, oh, they're not the greatest. But
God has favorites. I'm okay with some people being naturally better without putting the time in, for the record.
I dislike that we as a human like population just don't have the ability to understand quality and what that range really looks like and associate the proper like compliments that should go wherever. And I don't think we should you know, do the opposite. Not certainly not at all, but like we can chill a little bit. Like, yeah, we are overselling. You
get uncomfortable when people compare museum pieces to fridge art, right? Is that what you're saying? Like, you can still love both. They both have meaning. They both have importance, and it could be someone's favorite, but one for one, they are not the same. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
I think
I want to appreciate the nuance of skill and talent. That's all.
Well, I think you're definitely a 7.
Thank you, Nick. And that's a compliment.
I think we're ready for a little special edition. You ready for
I'm so ready.
Ready? All right, guys. It's the produce report, everyone's favorite controversial segment with a comment clapback twist. We had 2 different posts that popped off in the last week or 2 here, and there's a lot we want to say about both of them. By the time, and this is rare context we don't normally give out, but this podcast is being recorded further in advance than normal. So at this point, this might seem like old news, but this is a fresh scab for us over here. We are coming in saucy and we are coming in spicy. Jen, should we start with the most recent one with USA Darts' score, or do we want to start with the sponsorship one?
Let's just go ahead and rip the checkout routes. I think that one's like a little more fresh on my mind. Like, absolutely fantastic. And we see that the time again comment, it doesn't matter as long as they hit the out. And so I think that's what's sticking in my craw the longest. But Nick, I mean, this is really more you. Sticking in my craw? Is that not an expression?
What about your craw? What is with you and orifices today? I am done with this, Jen. Stick the mustaches. All right, let's give context of what we're talking about here. If you haven't seen it, this clip popped off on USA Darts, so make sure to go over there and check out the reels on any of your favorite reel supported platforms. I'm sure it's there. This is on like Kick TV. If so, why are you here? Now, that being said, we're at NDA Team Dart. This happened early in May. This is the finals of the elite singles bracket. First place, I believe, was $3,000. Second place, $1,500. A very big, notable matchup of 2 people in the finals of the highest level bracket they are offering there. And it is Jason Alberts, a prior Team USA member, and Mark Taylor, who has the year before, I recalled, doing quite a good run as well, and has only been playing for 4 years. That's important context I don't think a lot of people know from what I've been told. And so here's what happens. All right, you ready? Lock in, folks. Visualize with me. Visualize for me. I can't. Thank you, John.
Aphantasia.
So, Jason Alberts is approaching. They are playing 501 split bowl double out, and Jason's sitting on 125, and then Mark's behind him at 122. Now, 125, Dason chooses to start the 20 and misses the trip 20. Well, we'll get into the specifics of the math in a little bit here, but if you start 25 or you start 18, those both leave you finishes while still hitting a singles. 25 leaves you trip 20 for double 20, and then a single 18 leaves you trip 19 for double bull, right? So that's the idea, is that if you shoot the 18 or the bull, you get a shot at out if you still miss your first start. Missing the trip 20 on the first start means you're guaranteed to not have a finish. Now, Dason goes on to miss the trip 20, not have a finish, and sets himself up. Mark Taylor goes 122. Also another shot where you can go 18 or bull on the opening. Bull leaves you trip 19 for double 20, and single 18 leaves you trip 18 for double bull. So there's a couple different routes there that leave you finishes while missing. Mark Taylor goes up and goes trip 20 and leaves 62. And instead of going 12 for bull or trip 12 for double 18, instead he goes there and goes another trip 20 and then hits a double one to take the leg out with a 122. And Will Stewart loses his mind. I'm losing my mind as well, but Will lost his mind. Like, they were like 30 feet away and clearly hearing Will's yelling at the end when it happened. So we had posted that moment because it is a very objectively funny moment. And all of a sudden it's 400 comments later and a 250,000 views plus, and people have had some takes on this one. Jen, what was your thoughts when you saw that clip for the first time? Because you didn't see it live like we did.
Yes, yeah, I didn't see it live, and I really absorbed it. I always read the comments before I watch a video because, like, I just want to get down to the meat and potatoes of the thing. Two things on my elimination diet, but okay. So I'm reading these comments, I'm absorbing it all, and Alex Spellman, bless your heart for going in, and you've responded to like 20 times trying to dispel ignorance, trying to fully explain the thought process behind why is Will crashing out. And I think Mike Maloney did quite a bit as well, and he attributed a little the conversation of like, don't forget this is split bull. So it's not as if it's a conversation of steel tip math versus soft tip math. It's split bull. The format's the exact same. It's the same mathematical plan. The only difference is it's even easier to utilize the 25 outer ring and inner bull because soft tip segments are larger. So it's even crazier to me that Dason didn't start on 25, for example, on a 125 checkout. But my thoughts are none of that matters to the average viewer. All of your breakdown of that math did not process in their minds. They're not thinking about it because their counter argument every single time is it doesn't matter how you go about it as long as you hit it. So that's what I personally want to focus on. Yes, obviously there are two routes that can be identical if you hit the triples or trebles. The difference appears when you miss. So that's the huge counter argument to their counter argument, the counter. So that's why players discuss constantly the proper route that you should go with these particular checkouts, because players are not planning for perfection. And that's the point that Alex Spellman keeps saying, is they're planning for the most likely mistake that's going to happen, right? So it's the same reason a football coach doesn't call plays assuming every pass will be completed, or a poker player who doesn't shove all in every single hand because it doesn't matter if the cards come, right? Good strategy accounts for what happens when things don't go exactly right. It's common sense. That's why we're so upset that people, just keep dispelling the same ignorant comment over and over and over. It doesn't matter until you hit it. Because another way to think about it is, okay, suppose a player hits their intended triple only 30% of the time, but they hit a single 70% of the time. So if one route preserves a checkout after the 70% outcome and the other route kills the checkout average after the 70% outcome, then the routes are absolutely not equal mathematically. So the it doesn't matter as long as he or she hits it argument is a kind of, for me, it's like saying it doesn't matter if you wear a seatbelt as long as you don't crash the car. Like, that's technically true, but it's idiotic to say because we're talking about life and death here. Now, when we're saying darts, of course it's not life or death, but as Nick eloquently put, winning and losing could be the difference between second and first place. And the prize money difference can be very substantial. In this case, $3,000 versus $1,500. So for the love of God, can we just stop enabling mathematical ignorance?
Here's the biggest problem, and what most, if not all, comments missed. There was one thing that dispelled every comment that was in that comment section, and you know what it was, Jen? Do you know? Do you know
Well,
the holy grail here? The holy
please
grail.
enlighten me.
Everyone said it doesn't matter if he hit it. An outs and out, getting a zero, doing what you're most comfortable with. They said all these different ways of justifying 122. Um, what they fail to realize is that Dason showed the counter example the turn prior in the video. Very same video, the very same video showed, well, he chose the wrong first start and therefore guaranteed he didn't get a chance. He was literally the 95% of the time reality in the same video, and he didn't get shooting out. But Mark Taylor happened to hit the silly way, and everyone's like, well, see, guys, it doesn't really matter. Except it did, because Dason didn't do the right thing either. It was not about Mark Taylor. It was about that Dason did an error and then got punished in the most silly way possible. That's what people are missing. The counter example is there. The 5% and the 95% were equally represented in that video screen time. Like, insane to me. And here's where y'all start to make me upset. I'm going to read one of the comments here. Richard King, great shot, Mark. The most embarrassing thing is the bullying by the commentators and the rest of the community. Fun fact. First off, I've already talked to Mark Taylor before. We already were complimenting that he was one of the best players in the team event as part of that Westco Miracle run that never expected to get out of the round robin and made it all the way to the finals in Westco Warhammers. We already went up there and I filmed a video showing off his darts and the electrical tubing and talked with him about his throw prior to this happening. And guess what? When he won that event and he won the elite singles and he was clearly emotional and trying to keep it all inside, I went over there and I shook his hand. I congratulated him. And guess what? I asked, what the hell were you thinking? And you know what Mark Taylor said? I don't know. I practiced double one a bunch and I know it wasn't right, but I just went for it. And that's fine because he's been playing for 4 years. And if he personally wants to make that decision, that is okay. That is on him if he wants to choose to better that part of his game or not. But what we did was our job. Now, did we play it up? Did we get a little goofy? Did we play it into our personalities because we're a silly little dart show talking about pointy objects? Absolutely, we did. Of course we did, folks. But what people fail to understand is when you're watching a football play and there's blown coverage on the offensive line, a linebacker doesn't block somebody, and the quarterback does this amazing scramble and somehow saves the play and scores the touchdown. It's incredible, right? It's a cool moment. But do you think that they only sit there and talk about the incredible moment? Because his 122, don't get me wrong, was incredible. But they also spend time talking about how the play was almost ruined and got saved because they were exceptional despite the circumstances they were put in. That's exactly what we're here to do. When this is a round 2 level 4 matchup, we're not going to yell at you like that because simply put, it's a learning opportunity. We'll just say, oh, they probably should have done this. They probably didn't know about this. Or maybe they just chose not to do it. You know, if Mark wants to shoot 122 like that when Dason's on 305, go for it, right? Like, I don't care. But when you're in the finals of a high money event at a national level tournament, you should be chastised for making the wrong decision because you're also the one setting the example for the game, right? For every moment like that, there's 100 other moments where someone did something really smart and we sat there and we nerded out over their cricket strategy, but those don't go as viral because they just did what they were supposed to do. That's the problem. It was never bullying Mark because I went up there and I joked about it with him and he laughed and I thought we got off fine. And if Mark Taylor's offended, then I personally apologize. But I saw him at the Chicago finals a couple weeks later. He didn't seem to mind. You know, like it was a funny moment. It was supposed to be funny. It honestly gave us energy. So if you guys took it as bullying, then you're projecting insecurity. Frankly, it was a learning opportunity and the sports analysts are supposed to sit there and analyze the goddamn sport.
I mean, it's an amazing reminder to us all. Another comment that really stuck out to me is, well, maybe a few people said like, oh, I love how mediocre commentators are commenting on mediocre dart players or whatever, their strategy. I mean, that's insane because the entire theory behind the whole point of this strategy is to prepare for the outcome that happens more often, which is us missing. We're imperfect humans. So we're trying to protect ourselves as like not perfect, great players. The whole concept of it all is meant to be caring and supportive and like it's okay when you miss because you did the thing that essentially set you up for success when that happens. Like the whole thing isn't to me about chastising or bullying whatsoever. It's if anything comforting to know people assume we're going to miss sometimes, even the best players out there. And beyond that, it believing in this theory doesn't mean that you're a great player. Everyone from the absolute beginning to the absolute end of professional should like this theory. It doesn't matter if you're a mediocre player whatsoever. Elite players aren't just aiming for the best case scenario. Like, I don't know how many times we have to say that. They're maximizing their chances across all possible outcomes in darts. And that applies to everyone of every skill level. Again, you don't just wear a seatbelt because you're a child or because you're of really valuable life. Like, everyone wears a seatbelt. Like, this theory is a end all be all for everyone. It's just insane that that's always the go to. Like, y'all shouldn't even have a voice in darts because you're not great at it. It's so stupid.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you can sit down and do the work and study in other ways. And fun fact, there's still very accomplished players that have sat in our booth with us. And there's also a version of us that probably went on the timeline where we tried to play and maybe we would have proved it ourselves. But it doesn't make it objectively true or false. Another comment here from
Yes.
Tasha Woods, Michelle, was don't play with him. Y'all the ones that can't count, even, show up and show them folks you don't have to conform. Way to show out, Mark. And to that point, I just want to say, again, if you listen to that entire match or any match, we were very kind because he was such a good shot. His hand was hot that weekend. It is true. And he is openly like, people in the comments were, when it happened live, were not upset by it because most of them were just blown away that it happened. And the ones that knew him said, yeah, that's classic Mark. Like, they were kind of laughing and joking along with it. When people take it as an attack, and you, especially when you don't go and watch the whole matchup or watch the other source material, which is a big problem I have with this next video we're going to talk about in a little bit. You're kind of like making a presumption. It's not, hey, you have to conform, but what it is, hey, this is an opportunity. If you can be this good and put yourself in tougher positions, I mean, imagine how many times in that tournament run where maybe he did other shots like that. Imagine how much less stressful it could have been. Imagine some tournament results where they went one way, they could have been the other. All we're saying is this is a learning opportunity. We didn't take away from his run.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just more like, Mark, way to show you're the exception to the rule. That was cool. That was fun. We all had a laugh about it. Like, of course, all players make mental errors. It doesn't mean we don't believe in this philosophy. We don't, of course, we still believe in this strategy. I screw up checkout math all the time. I
She
make
really does.
mistakes. It doesn't mean I would, it doesn't mean I would ever go onto the internet and be like, yeah, I'm setting an example for screw ups like me. We don't say go trip 18 because it guarantees success. We say that because it gives you the highest possibility of still winning the leg when you're human instead of perfect. It's moronic to say otherwise.
Well, and just I got in an argument once with Steve McDowell when we used to commentate the DPFL together because he was one of those players that just didn't understand. Now, granted, he did say like in Premier Division, the highest level the DPFL offers, that he was like, okay, you should probably know this stuff, but like whenever it was anything other than Premier Division, he was like, nah, it's not that deep. Just get the zero fast, right? You know, I understand what you're saying, but he's like, why even worry about trying to leave the 170 when you're a Division 4 player? And here's what I'll argue with the 122 and 125. Here's how I'll frame it. When you start 20 and you don't hit a triple 20, your chance of checking out in that turn goes from whatever percentage it was. Let's say it was 20%. Maybe you weren't very confident you were going to hit it. 33%, right? You have a 33% chance to take out this 122 and you go and hit a single 20 in the first start. Guess what? Your percentage went from 33% to 0. When you hit a single 18 or a single bull on that first start, when you miss aiming at the double bull or the triple 18, but you miss into one of the eligible segments, your percentage might go from 33% to 5%, but you still have a percentage. It is, and every leg matters so much. And again, folks, if you don't believe me, look at how Dason's Albert's game finished, because he lost that leg by doing the exact thing we said he should have been doing, the same thing that we said Mark should have been doing. Mark was exceptional despite the circumstance.
Pop off, Nick. I mean, I feel like I've said the same thing 3 times, so that's our best effort to hopefully inspire folks to care about having a chance.
Yeah, I think we covered it pretty well. And also, guys, if you think we're dumb commentators, you're right. I just wish you guys would say when we're being stupid, and not when we're being smart for once. And that's literally
we said some Ridiculous stuff on
we
the air.
There's some times where I'm like, wow, that is absolutely fair. And oh yeah, that was just not one of those times where I'm like, guys, and when I'm the normal one, I'm the normal one in the clip. Leave me out of it. Why are we
Yeah.
pluralizing? Why are we pluralizing? What did I
Yeah.
do?
Nick's the level-headed one in that scenario.
Insane. So, there's a lot of comments, a lot of ways we can slice this up. But to be perfectly clear, all the love for Mark. It was a cool clip. And frankly, we just want to show something funny. And you guys can say whatever you will about it. But because of the way we reacted in that clip to that shot is a big part of the reason why that clip has 250,000 views. I'm not saying that these players wouldn't have gotten views on their own, but a lot of people wouldn't have put together the arithmetic error without having the framing. That is literally us just doing our job, guys. That is it. It ain't that deep.
All right, what's the next produce report?
Well, I figured we got to keep things simple here. So what if we answered one of the most controversial video comment sections we've ever had, especially in the history of this podcast? We posted a video called Sponsorship is a Symptom on my page. And it was a clip from episode 3 where we talked about barrel sponsorships, the pros, the cons, the good, the bad, the ugly. And a part of that, I went onto a rant and I said that sponsorship is a symptom. It should not be the goal. Your goal shouldn't be, I want to get a barrel sponsorship. Your goal should be, I want to be accomplished enough that a company that I win this tournament and eventually a company will reach out to you, right? That was the idea behind it, is if you set goals in your career to progress yourself as a player or as a content creator or whatever version of it is, that hopefully the sponsorship will come in line. But if your goal is to just get sponsored, your bar is going to be set too low. You're sometimes going to accept opportunities that you shouldn't accept. And when you take these early opportunities, there's a chance it can kneecap your career. And I also went on to say in that video that there's players that absolutely had good experiences with this. And if they did, good for them. But a lot of players also just it truncates their growth, and that's part of the problem of taking an early sponsorship and chasing a sponsorship in particular. But people had some very strong opinions, and without getting too saucy, there was a certain group of commenters that had a certain affiliation that were particularly upset more than the rest. I'm not here to name any companies by name because, frankly, it's not that deep, as I will go back to say a couple times during this segment. But some of the players' takes there kind of framed this in a way that was so far from the original messaging. And you can tell the people that only watched that reel and reacted, and particularly only listened to the part that they heard and not the entire reel, let alone going to the entire episode and watching it or going to the full-length posted video. None of those things happened, right? Instead, what happened was I heard what I heard, and I'm going to project whatever I feel because I feel like you're talking about me. And that's what a lot of those comments were.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel I've really exhausted this topic as much as possible, but what I would like to do is at least just dispel a little bit of ignorance as we see them come up in the comments. Because I know, Nick, you had written down just a couple of standout messages that are really getting off the beaten track here.
Yeah, so we're going to start off with the heftiest comment as far as the length. Although I will say that, like, Meredith McGee, banger comment. I really wanted to do it way too long. Like, I legitimately, like, that took all of my Adderall that day to get through. And she made a banger point. I thought the way she framed it was amazing. Love you, Murph. Unfortunately, didn't get through it. As far as like for the show, I did read it for the record. I read every single one of these comments. I am going to talk about fan of the show, Chris Grimmel, and her comment here. She said, and let me go ahead and pull this one up here. This is a long one. Strap in, folks. Chris Grimmel said, it is very clear from reading all the posts that the term sponsored player means different things to different people and organizations. For some, sponsorship means receiving equipment, apparel discounts, or product support. For others, it means representing a team, a brand, or even receiving financial backing. Regardless of the level, sponsorship is a form of recognition for a player's dedication, skill, sportsmanship, and commitment to the game. I'm going to pause real quick in this first section. Actually, no, I'm not. We're just gonna read the whole thing. I had some I was gonna say here, but I realized that we're just gonna get through the whole thing and then we'll kind of touch back. There's nothing wrong with setting a goal to become a sponsored player. Each company brings their own unique take on things and what they're willing to offer or not. Every player starts somewhere, and many work hard to earn opportunities that allow them to represent companies and organizations that they believe in. What stands out to me is how much times have changed. People are willing to accept one change, but not another is baffling to me. Point in question, there was once a greater emphasis on respecting opponents, supporting fellow players, and celebrating each other's accomplishments. Today, too often, people seem more interested in belittling someone else's goals than encouraging their growth. Oh boy. Whether a player receives a free product, joins a team, or secures a major sponsorship, it represents a company seeing value in that individual, however that company sees fit to do so or not. Instead of criticizing those aspirations, we should be encouraging players who are working to improve themselves and contribute positively to the sport we all love. The sport we all love, excuse me. That is the comments there from Chris Grimmel. A dynamite drop in. With some valid and invalid points kind of mixed together there, in my opinion. I will say before we get into this comment specifically, there was another comment talking about, I think your opinion is wrong when they were talking about something we said. Opinions can't be wrong, and I don't think that Chrissy's opinion is wrong. I do think that there's parts where I very much disagree with it. And as we said the last time we talked about her on the produce report, nothing but love and respect towards her. But there was some very jarring things said in here that I think we should address.
Yeah, the belittling word specifically. I think the framing around that. A few other folks already, for me, kind of like counter the claim there by immediately saying like, this is exactly the information I wish I knew, 2 to 3 years ago. I would have been choosier with what brand to go with. I wouldn't have signed that contract. I wouldn't have agreed to this specific kind of deal, or I wouldn't have put value into this deal that didn't deserve that level of value. So that's validating immediately to me of like the only goal of what we talk about over and over and over is to give you an actual picture of what sponsorship is and how you actually obtain it. That's the literal title of a 3,000 word blog I wrote years ago that is still pretty relevant, if not even more relevant today, as the structure of contracts haven't changed. And there's only more and new, specifically kind of predatory contracts that come out of the woodworks time and time again whenever a new company kind of develops and has to do something extreme to catch up to all their competitors. So it is absolute. For me personally, I never have the intention of discouraging someone from sponsorship, but I think it's really very realistic to say sponsorship is not for everyone. It doesn't mean you shouldn't set that as a goal, or it doesn't mean it should never be a symptom of your efforts. For me, sponsorship is not for everyone, and it doesn't suit everyone's personality and goals, and that is okay. And we don't have to put sponsorship on a pedestal anymore. I think it's just becoming more and more clear. And you know how I know that? Because I actually work for a darts company for the past decade. And beyond that, just my own lens of what my contracts look like with my players who I sponsor and manage, and I have the lived experience of being a sponsored player, I have seen every single contract of all 50 manufacturers and all the smaller little guys. And I shouldn't have, because players are not supposed to share their contracts with other eyeballs, but they did. And I've seen them all. And actually, brands do not bring their own unique taste. There are really only 3 categories of a type of sponsor in terms of a contractual agreement. And I'm just sorry to say, like, I'm not saying that to be mean or to discourage you. I am saying that to be objective and to help you understand this world. And it's crazy that we don't talk about it. It's insane that we don't warn people. It's insane that we don't set proper expectations for people to understand how to win as a sponsored player, how to make use of it, how to negotiate your contracts. Because me, little baby Jen, 10 years ago, when I didn't have IBS and leaky gut, maybe, I didn't know what I was doing when I was signing a 3-year barrel sponsorship that I had 0 negotiation power for, that I got 0 kickback for every barrel sold. And I became very popular with a huge internal following that had nothing to do with the success of this barrel company or the barrel I was throwing. It had to do with my efforts in content creation. What a shitty situation for me to be in. Nothing against manufacturer, by the way. Wonderful. Stupid on me for not knowing.
Stupid.
Me stupid. Me ignorant for not knowing what I was signing. Good for them. Good. They didn't know I was going to blow up and I would have zero negotiation power. They just benefited from that. I'm not saying they weren't sitting back being like, ha ha ha, she got. Maybe. I don't know. But I couldn't, I wasn't even smart enough to suggest an early termination contract or something.
Mhm.
Like, I was a 23-year-old girl. I didn't know what I was doing. So, can we not resonate with that? Like, do we not understand that lived experience has taught us, and we're not just sponsored players, we're people who sponsor players. I know all these
We're
other
deep in
brands.
the behind the scenes. We're
I know
here.
exactly what sponsor and sponsee get and why it should be a very specific split percentage and what kind of level you should be putting in, what kind of level they should be putting in, and how you have negotiation power. It's so simple. It's a business agreement, and you're working together for a shared goal and outcome, but it's not for everyone.
So I'm going to address a couple of specific points in this comment now, because I think that's great, what you said there, Jen. And in fact, what frustrates me about some of these comments, when we post an individual video, we know the majority of people watching the real version probably haven't watched the full segment. That is fair. That is literally how it works with social media. There's understanding. What upset me about comments, and it wasn't just Chris Grimmel, it was a couple of others that had these comments that not only took a negative stance, which is fine to do. There's the whole point of why we post this shit. The problem that we faced was you then started making assumptions about what else we said or how we felt and decided to not research it further, right? We mentioned at the end card that it's a part of an episode of a show. We are wearing logos. There's logos on screen, right? So that is kind of what upsets me, especially because some of these players I've known for an extremely long time, and you can tell the different reactions. So I'm going to kind of break down a couple points here in Christy's comment. We have a couple other comments we're going to look at. We're not trying to single anybody out. This is just simply we're going off some of the takes and some of the comments that best encompassed those takes. She said that sponsorship means very different things to different people and organizations. We specifically talked about the differences in those kinds of sponsorships, and this applied to what we were saying about all of them. And we did imply that the sponsorships sponsorships that require you to invest your own money into it in advance are usually ones that are more predatory for newer players to the game. So we did clarify the different kinds of sponsorships in the full video, but in the real, we didn't specifically say any kind because this is still true regardless. The point being, reminder, folks, hey, listen, just have goals to win, have goals to make content, have goals to network, and the rest will happen. It's a symptom. You can still have it. It's not saying you're a bad person for having this goal. It's saying you could be a better player by not having it. Right. That was the whole point of what we were trying to say. And then it goes on. She goes on here to talk about for others, it means representing a team, a brand, or even receiving financial backing or receiving equipment, apparel discounts, product support. She mentions that again, mentioning different kinds of sponsorships there, but notably does not mention companies that make you pay into it. Which is again what we're talking about. If your buddy's bar wants to occasionally buy you an event entry to wear their logo and that's something you want to do, go for it. What are we talking about here? That's fine. You want to go and join one of those AI jersey apparel companies as an official player? I'm not the biggest fan, but if you're not buying anything yourself and they're just giving you it to wear, that's your choice. We're talking specifically about players that are barrels are expensive. And if they are having you involve yourself in a financial commitment, that's already a problem. Even if they're not, and it's early in your career, you might not be giving yourself all the negotiating power necessary if you're on the upwards trend. She then goes on to say, there's nothing wrong with setting a goal of being a sponsored player. Each company brings their own unique take on things and what they're willing to offer or not. While there is some uniqueness, Jen said it, there's really like 3 kinds of deals. Like it is not that unique. And what happens is, and what some of these players were talking about, there's companies that sponsor a significantly higher number of players than others. When you get sponsored by Target, you're part of a team of 50 players in total, versus some of these organizations that have a couple hundred active players, and over a couple years go through hundreds of in and out. if your goal, if your mentality is this company's it's gonna help me stand out and push myself and promote myself, that's what a sponsorship's supposed to do, or they're supposed to make your life easier. And one of the two things, right? And if they're not actively pushing and promoting you in a way that's actually getting you tangible results, that's problematic, right? If they're not giving you financial support to help compensate for the fact that they're not doing that, that's also problematic. Going on. This is the one I think really starts to get me a little lost here. What stands out to me is how much times have changed. People are willing to accept one change, but not others. Baffling to me. And the very next thing she says is point in question. There is a great emphasis on respecting opponents. That's also you talking about a change that you're not accepting, and a change that we already dispelled in the sense that I don't think respect is going away. I think respect looks different in the sport now. And I think how we define respect looks different. It's not about accepting change or not. The fact we didn't say they shouldn't exist as a company. In fact, we've said it actually is a pretty good business model for the company. What we have said is that players should be informed, and that players should be defensive of their legacy and their brand and their development. That is what it is. This has nothing to do with respecting opponents or supporting players or celebrating accomplishments. When she goes on to say, today too often people seem more interested in belittling someone else's goals than encouraging their growth. The whole point of the video was to say that we had nothing against players that have accepted these sponsorships. The whole point was to say that this is one of the best ways that you can help your growth is by respecting the value of your brand. And if the opportunity makes sense to you for whatever company you're picturing when I'm saying this, then take it. I'm not telling you not to. I've seen players go to take deals from those companies that go on to be very successful and sometimes even stay with those companies. Good for them. Do you know how many players in that comment section were at one of those companies and said how bad their experience was and said thank you for saying that and saying they wish they heard that? It's also for them. There's multiple voices in the room here.
Well, by the way, we're also trying to give you the tools to become a better sponsored player. This benefits the sponsor as well. I do this intentionally as a sponsor of players so that they understand what that relationship should really look like. The more information you have, the more we can cut through all the bullshit and the assumptions of each other and just get down to brass tacks. We know what we're both bringing to the table now. There isn't this constant, like, I'm feeling taken advantage of, or, oh, that guy doesn't do shit for me. I mean, it's a time old thing. Think of just boss employee. If you're just straight with each other and you set expectations and this person knows what they want from this person and this person knows what's expected of this person, your relationship's going to be a million times better and you're going to have respect for one another. I mean,
Mhm.
I just it's a philosophy of just policing the agreement, you know? I want someone to be, as a boss, I want my employees to be excited to come to me about a raise. I want them to know exactly how to get a raise and to be excited to come to me and say, I'm ready to take on this, this, and this as a new responsibility in exchange for this money bump. Are we good? How easy would that conversation be? I don't understand why that's never been my experience, you know, coming into the workforce. I love being a boss now. That's what I want. I want my people to be excited about growing their skills and asking for more money rather than a cost of life increase. What's it called? Like a cost of life,
Yeah.
like tiny, like 50-cent raise, whatever it is, a dollar raise.
Mhm.
I don't know, whatever it is. It's the same concept here. You should understand what your role is as a sponsored player coming into this, read those contracts and actually understand them. I don't know. This would probably be too risque, but maybe a great content for an idea would be to like run through an example contract that doesn't label any specific name or person, but it's just like a rough guide of this is what you might expect, or like, I don't know what to do, what else to do at this point.
Well,
I mean,
there's nothing to do, right? When we said we wanted to do this podcast, we wanted to talk about things that are on our minds. That was literally it. We just were already talking on the phone about topics like this, about topics like Jen shitting herself. I'm going to keep hammering on that. Just for the record, I'm not going to
dude,
stop.
you are the way that you are, like the colorful language you always use around to frame the issue is just
Yeah.
ridiculous. But thank you.
The
Appreciate
liquid
you.
dam breach that is happening downstairs in her waterways.
Okay,
Yeah,
I said
no.
I wanted people to be less attracted to me, not to like be disgusted by me.
See, the problem is you tell something to a man with aphantasia, I can't picture it, so I'll say the gross things. So, you know, at the end of the day, we're just trying to give advice to players and I have had some really cool experiences since starting this podcast because I was not very openly queer online. I mean, people assumed it, but like I wasn't directly saying it myself, right? On the internet, I was saying it to people in conversation. I was very open about that, but I was always hesitant to put this on the internet. And what's cool about something like this show starting is I actually had a player that walked up to me at this junior nationals tournament that was 20 years old, that said, it's really cool to see queer representation in the space. I love watching you and Jen because it makes me feel more comfortable, especially just with my relationships and my sexuality, and the dart world is not always the most comfortable, right? So I hear about stuff
Take
like
that, Hugh Ware. Take that.
Yeah. Second best darts podcast queer people thing. That's us still. So when I hear the end of Chrissy's comment, it says, instead of criticizing those aspirations, we should be encouraging players who are working to improve themselves and contribute positively to the sport we all love. I chose to spend my day off, not with any special content in mind, not paid by any company, to go to the Junior Nationals tournament. We go and put this podcast out there on the internet for free. I had a conversation with my boss at work about time management this last week, and I said, and I had he asked how successful or not my content was, and I said, from a monetary point of view, and this is true number, I average about $28 a month from my personal social media pages and monetize the revenue. And he's like, why do you even do it then? And I said, because we all have a hobby and I love what I do. Right. When I go out there and I spend time making a video on describing the 15s and 16s, when I go on there and I talk about players' experiences, and I get a chance to go cover events, and I get a chance to go talk with players, when I'm answering your drunk DMs at 2 a.m, when I'm reading the mean comments, like I like to think that 9 times out of 10, maybe even 99 times out of 100, we are out there contributing positively to the dart world. And I don't think this is the 1 out of 100 where we were wrong and we took away from something in the dart world. In fact, if you feel like that's the case, I'm having trouble seeing eye to eye. At the end of the day, we truly love this game, and all we are doing is providing more information to players, whether they choose to accept it or not. Right, Milo? How'd you look on the wrong side?
Well, it was my thing is reversed. My poor boy. Clearly we want to help humans and dogs. That's all we care about.
Mostly dogs.
I have to come in and just say one more thing, because I see the same assumption about sponsorship over and over and over. So someone comes in and they're like, why wouldn't I go for sponsorship? Why wouldn't this be a goal? They're going to pay for my entries. They're going to pay for my flights and hotel. You could not be more wrong. That is even true for some of the best players out there. When Nick mentioned the brand Target, arguably one of the biggest forces for barrels in the world, sponsoring some of the best players in the world and historically the best players in the world, they have one American sponsored player, Danny Baggish. They had Danny Lobby. He moved to the UK. He's still an American citizen, of course. But think about the astronomical odds of getting sponsored by them, by Winmore, by Red Dragon, by Harrows. Harrows has 0. I think they have 0 American sponsored players right now. There's a reason it's incredibly easy to get a there's a reason it's incredibly easy to get a flight and shaft sponsor. The stakes are so much lower and it's so much more inexpensive, and they intentionally want players out there proving the validity of their system working. They have so much competition. Barrels are far different. Dartboards are far different. Large accessories. Again, intimate knowledge, 10 years of knowledge of looking at these products. What is the actual agreement? What are you trying to prove works well? What is the right optimal system for players to be using? What's the point of you being sponsored? You're the proof of concept, silly. You're the proof of concept these companies' products work. And sometimes a sample product player, that's the right agreement. Other times, you need to already be a traveling, winning player in singles events to even be considered for something significant like a financial barrel sponsorship, unless you're being sucked into a predatory agreement where you have to buy into the company, where you become a full-time salesman and you're out there. It's like Cutco Cutlery or what's that makeup company? There's all these like pyramid schemes. Like I did all that stuff in high school. Like it's the exact same concept. You sell out to your local like friends and family, and then it runs out and you can't really push them anymore. It's because you're not accomplished enough. You don't have a big enough following. Hardly anyone in America is big enough to really have an effect on sales. Professional lines of darts, signature player lines, are the least popular products in America. Is like kind of a mind. This has been true for years. the needle is moving a little bit. We're seeing a little bit of an increase. It's non-player ranges that are popular. How do I know this? Because I've access to 40 years of sales data. The largest distributor of darts is A to Z Darts in North America. Like, if you have no one else to trust, I don't understand why you can't trust me when I say you are not getting your entry fees paid for. You're not going to get your flights and hotel paid for unless your name is Alex Spellman. Like, the bar is set so high to negotiate that kind of a contract.
And for the record, two things there. Alex Spellman, by the way, you're underrated in our book. We don't agree with Will's opinion.
So underrated.
For the record, you're great.
I'm not even saying that sarcastically. Damn it! I don't know why it came out sarcastically, but
you sound like that.
Like yeah.
Anyway. But you know, to that point, the whole point of that segment was about self-respect and setting expectations, right? If you want to go and you want to do it, I heard a couple of different people where it was like, if players, like, if you're not willing to invest in yourself, then should you even have a sponsorship, was a version of a comment. You know, someone else was mentioning, like, you know, what's wrong with providing players the opportunity to earn money while they play? Here's the truth of the matter. Just like Jen said, you can probably sell immediately to your friends and family. You can get it the first initial wave. You know, there's certain players that will be able to reach outside their network. Again, your Ram Guevara's, Alex Spellman's won't have that same struggle, right? Because they're constantly out there traveling, hitting the circuit, and finding success. So they don't have to go push. They just will remind you when it's in stock and occasionally make a video about it or a comment about it, something, right? But when I see these players carry 5 sets on them and remind players that they're going to be at the events with their barrels and then trying to spend time pushing it, imagine the time that you spent doing that and the amount of time that total investment took and the amount of trust. Because if you ever sign with another company and get another barrel, those same people that just bought it probably already said, well, I supported you already. I'm good. You know, some of them will buy new sets. Just think about it, audit your own time. Imagine you spent that same amount of time working on other avenues of your life to enable you to travel more or to practice more or to make more content and promote yourself better. And think about potential future like leveraging. Again, we're not saying to not do it. If you want to do it, if you say, all my goal is to have my name on a box and to sell that box to my friends and family, and I want my own barrel and that I'm happy, good for you. Awesome. Again, bucket list is fine. This is not to shame anybody that's taken those deals. But it's also just a simple matter of fact of players should just be aware of the pros and cons. And a lot of the times they're not. And when everybody has the same company on their shirt, are you really standing out as a sponsored player? Is there like that? That's really the problem here. But I think, Jen, let's address a couple of different comments here real quick, and we'll kind of rapid fire through this and lighten the mood up a little bit around here. It's been getting heavy. Tommy Gunn says, disagree here. Sponsorship can help with entries, getting your name out there, putting your brand on your back might give you the motivation to improve and put the work in. It's specifically the last part. Putting a brand on your back might give you the motivation to improve and put the work in. If you don't already have that motivation intrinsically in your own development and career, the brand should not make a difference. You're done. It doesn't matter. That's the take. Again, if you're getting a sponsorship that helps you with entries and actually putting money into it, good for you, right? But if you're only playing for your sponsor, that's wrong.
We have to stop here. I can literally count on one hand the amount of people who are getting flights, hotel, entry fees paid for. Again, astronomical odds here. Please stop talking about things you have no knowledge about. Please, community. That's all I'm asking is like, we have to give people the reality. It's not as astronomical as becoming a movie star, but
open up about your personal experience, because I know there's local bars that occasionally will cover entry fees for a player sometimes in certain events.
Yes, huge exception to the rule. That is not a darts sponsorship and a contractual agreement. That's all I'm talking about. The 50 major brands out there are not making deals like that with the average person, not even a small subset of people. It's an astronomically small amount of people. And none of them can truly make a living solely on the sponsorships. They have to make content on the side. They have to have other things going on. I mean, they probably have to have a full-time job or part-time job. Like, I think it's literally only Alex Spellman right now sincerely attempting to live off of darts. It was Jules Van Doggen a couple of years back. Leonard Gates, I think he's dipped in and out of trying to do that. He has been successful at that. I think back in the day, like Darren Young is a standout example of someone who was probably really successful with the financial aspect with Cosmo Darts because his flight design had the arachnid like spider. I think that just in itself not to take away from him as a person. He's an amazing guy, very likable, had an amazing career. I think just the happenstance of people loving like Spider, especially like the Black Widow line with Laser, and like the popularity around Black Widows for some reason, that really propelled sales. And again, I can count on one hand the people who really stand out in my mind of like they don't even have to do anything to push sales. So that's like a Mike Maloney, really really popular sell through rate, one of the few standout examples of someone who is putting himself out there constantly trying
And
to provide information.
there's other North Americans in that barrel range that don't have the same success that he does with his sales, for the record.
Yeah,
Like,
really good players
yeah.
who don't even come close to my barrel sales. And again, not meant to be like arrogant and flex and show off. It's just ridiculous that an influencer has way more negotiation power these days than a sponsored player. Again, just trying to open your eyes to the reality that yes, there are more sponsorship, more like watered down product sponsorships to choose from these days, but there are less and less and less ones that are like quite good and financially backed. And there are um, things in the contract specifically nowadays that are requiring social media metrics and performance online of your social content. I don't know if that's shocking or not to hear, but that's there now, especially with the big brands. And again,
Yeah.
there's like literally only one or two, maybe four, I think, for Winmore right now and Red Dragon. But it's so hard. It's so hard to accomplish that. So let's all just understand that for a second and take a step back, because I can't stand it when people come in like that and just say like, "Oh, why wouldn't you try to go for this?" Because it's not going to happen for you.
Yeah, well, and again, if you that same energy spent chasing and trying to climb a proverbial ladder of sponsorship jumping, which is also never a good look for the record, instead just investing that energy and time into yourself is always where it should be. If you naturally get accomplishments and grind up, that's great. I'm not saying that you should never take a sponsorship from a non-elite company, but the longer you're successful and the more self-respect you have for yourself, the better deal you're going to get. Because even these smaller companies, not every deal is equal. I know for a fact that these players are getting different cuts, and I've known the best of them and the worst of them. But let's go ahead. I have two more comments here on this, and then we're done. And the last one's going to be a positive one. We're going to get positive around here, I swear. Tim Shepard Jr. says, "For me, being sponsored means being a part of a family. It brings others from different backgrounds together through a game in which we all enjoy. For me, I like representing something that shows love to not just the sponsored players, but to others as well." To this point, I will argue what you were saying is almost right, but not. I guarantee you most of those target players, other than the occasional media days or these Winmore, these big company players, don't actually interact with each other that much specifically or intentionally because of their sponsorship. Smaller sponsorships, I try to do these team dynamics. Guess what? You can join a team without being sponsored. You can say I'm on a dart team. For instance, my dad had a dart team and I was on it. It was called New Dart Order, Team NDO, and it was free to join. And the entire thing is, hey, if you are going to be a good ambassador to the game, we'll give you a free shirt and we'll take a team photo. And if you're ever looking for partners, we have a private group where you can find other people that are part of this mentality of promoting the game and not being exclusionary to new players. Because the whole point was, hey, let's let these new guys in that are getting kicked out by some of the old guard. I keep bringing them up. So that was the whole point, and that was free, and that didn't require any money. And I got to be part of a team. I see local bars kind of treat themselves as a team together. Absolutely. You can have team dynamics and dichotomies. One of the organizations I've talked about pretty consistently is like a Stingers organization, right? Where it's like they don't charge you anything to be a part of it. But you do get a couple of jerseys along the way. And there's an expectation that you guys take some photos together every now and again. And it's all females and there's more of that team dynamic. Good for them, right? Like that's like there's pros and cons to stuff, but you can have a team without being in a financial commitment, and you can have a team without having to be forced to push a product specifically tied to your name and brand.
Oh, yeah. I don't mean to be a dick, but that guy's factually wrong. 100% just wrong. For the exception of Monster. That is the one sponsor who is literally cultivating a family of people. And it's like a prerequisite. You got to be a chill dude or a sick ass girl to like be a part of that family. I mean it, Chris, right? You are literally cultivating that exact culture. And then on top of that, you have whatever agreement. I don't know. It's probably solid. Like, that is the only example of what this guy is talking about. Nick is 100% right. And again, you know how I know this? Because I've literally talked to PDC players and their sponsors. They kind of hate each other sometimes. Some of them are friends outside of the tour. They do not see each other as a team. Target, Winmore, Red Dragon, they are not a team. They are individuals, and they just so happen to be a part of the same sponsor. They do not partner together for Paris play. They don't do things together. They're forced to contractually to contribute to media days and do stuff. They do not see each other as a team. And I really don't see that in terms of like, yes, sometimes you got like some QSOL people partnering up and like L style people flashing up the L. And like, I think I put in concerning effort to try to partner up with other L style players back in the day, but that is not my main focus or goal or worry. And it's not required of you as a sponsored
Uh,
player at
here,
all.
here's the test. All right, guys. If you're talking about different companies and you say you're a part of a team because you're a sponsored player from that company, name 80% of the players that are sponsored by that company. That's it.
50%. Name 50%
Even
of them.
50%.
All 100 of them.
Yeah, if you can name all 237 players, then maybe it is a team, and I'm wrong. But I think you nailed it on the head there, Jen. The last comment is from Chris Trindad from Monsta. He said, the amount of inquiries every week is mind-blowing. Some even get mad at me after I tell them, sorry, we're not accepting new players. We get people wanting to be a part of something, but I would like to keep my Dart Ohana special is all. I am a fan of so many Dart players that wear other brands as well. And it doesn't mean that I'm going to go after those players. We have players that have been with me for over 10 years, and I value that. We don't much worry about what other companies are doing, as I have no time for that. All I know is I'm surrounded with good people that wear Monster brand, and that is good enough for me. And then he gave a little shock at the end.
Yeah, that's a person with a totally different philosophy of how to run business in general. So he's just an extreme exception to the rule. Oh, I'm so sorry. How could I forget? David Garfinkel with Dirty Jersey Darts. So he's also probably cultivating like a family of people, and he's very broad but selective at the same time. Of like, I think he's a little more invested as a person, like positively affecting that player, and goes out of his way to find partners for them. Like, so he's very invested into the person, I think, more so rather than the team dichotomy. But I mean, it's very muddied. So at the end of the day, like a group, this guy is just describing League, by the way, a place that brings people together to enjoy the game. That's League. That's just teams. it's just team play. That's just pairs. That's just League night. That's just Friday night darts. That's just whatever. Like, it's insane to apply that to sponsorship as the goal or associate that with any kind of obligation. A team, a group is like Chuck Hudson inventing the Kryptonite Girls and bringing those people together, and like exactly like how you describe Stingers. Like, it's incredibly low stakes. He just like wants to promote and push like women in darts. Like, those are groups. Like the Pink Ladies Dart League, that's a team. That's a group. That's a cause that you can get behind. Sponsorship is not a cause that you get behind. It's capitalism. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about?
Yummy capitalism.
Yummy
Guys,
capitalism.
The final take as we wrap up this segment that ran a little longer than intended because we had a lot to say about it. No way we ran over time on a segment. That's never happened here. Throw back to Pizza Tier List. The moral of the story is that we don't respect your goals and dreams, and we think you should sign whatever deal you want because we just don't care anymore. All right.
Oh my God. Let's move on to the pointed question, rapid fire, Nick.
Pointed question, rapid fire. What?
Yeah,
We're missing
We're just gonna run through it. Oh, I mean, oh my goodness, I'm skipping over a whole segment. Okay.
We're behind schedule, chat.
Well, you know, I forgot our start time, so we're actually doing fine on time. Like,
we're doing all right.
I'm so sorry. Yeah.
All right. So we have a brand new segment. I got some cards here. We're gonna shuffle it up. And this is from the game Substance. I saw on TikTok by Lovely. And so the whole point of this is that you're going to get a card here. And the idea is that there's no real rules to this game. It's about having a conversation of, well, substance. Now, here's the thing. Jen and I love rules. We're big rules girls, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to play a little game where we're going to each get a card. I shuffled this, so none of these are pre-selected. We're going to answer 3 questions. Now, you can veto as much as you want when it's your turn to get a question. You have to answer 3 in total. And at the end here, whoever vetoed the most questions loses and has to make a video of them being Milo the dog.
A day in the life of Milo. I
Yep.
accept these terms.
All right. I'm going to shuffle, look away. I've already shuffled these through. Jen, do you want to kick us off here? You ready?
Let's do it. Let it rip.
What is a secret or confession you have not shared with anyone? Well, internet, strap in.
Why is that the first question?
I shuffled
Wait,
it, dog.
Read it one more time. Read it one more time.
What is a secret or confession you have never shared with anyone?
Oh, not even my wife? Oh my God.
I think you can maybe modify this to say, bar except your wife, because that person knows
Okay.
that. Tirza
I think
has
I've
literally
told her
held the poop
everything.
shoot, so.
Yeah, she knows me, and chooses to stay. Okay, so how about this? I don't think I've ever said this online. I've certainly alluded to it, but when people comment on my appearance, coming back to calling myself a 7, I feel dead inside. It means nothing to me. If anything, it makes me feel discredited for almost every other aspect of my being and my existence. It truly depresses me. I think when people comment that my success and my following has to do with what I look like, especially, is depressing. And I would just really love to be known for the nerdy research and analysis that I do on darts, how much effort goes into the videos that I make, the knowledge that I'm trying to share and help people. I I don't think anyone's ever once complimented me on my personality or any of the characteristics about me outside of my appearance. So, no standout thing anyways, besides my internal friend group who actually know me. Um, and yeah, I don't think I've ever said that. It just like irks me and or I feel dead inside if someone says anything to do with the way I look or any kind of compliment like or sexualizing me in any way. So,
Which
that's
is
the
funny
honest
because
truth.
my opener today was all about your sexuality, but at least it wasn't sexualizing
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
To that same point, people talk about a little bit of envy when they're like, you're so lucky to be able to do what you do and have the time that you had to be able to commit to it. No, I chose to have a terrible quality of life for years, and the
Yeah.
chance of maybe making this work when everyone and every sign told me that it wasn't going to, I chose to have the famine days, and just because I chose to not be in relationships and have a kid, who knows? Maybe I would. You guys don't know. Maybe I did want to have a kid. Maybe I did want to be in love. But instead of spending time working on that, like I'm only just now getting to like taking care of myself at 27, right?
Yeah.
People just comment on things they don't understand. When someone says that you are successful just because you're pretty, no. In fact, it's the least important part of why you're successful. It's to acknowledge that looks don't play a factor in what we do in content creation would be ignorant. But
Of
if
course.
the reason we're successful is only 1% of that and 98%, 99% even of other things altogether.
All I'm asking of the world is to can you do a
Think of
girl
the
a
poop
solid
shoot.
and acknowledge can you do a girl a solid and acknowledge that I am not looks first. I don't use looks or sexuality as like my
Yes.
main talking point. I'm not that chick from Germany who did uh
I know.
what like a long she did a lingerie calendar. It's
Yeah. Mhm.
obvious. I'm not Helena Darts. And again, not to like name drop and shame these people. I'm just saying that's not me. That is not my content choice. I'm not sexuality
But
first.
if you're a
As
woman,
Will
you have to
Stewart
be associated in the same group.
of course. I was gonna joke, as Will Stewart likes to point out, I have no tits and ass. I'm not using these things as tools to gain people's attention only if I'm trying to make a joke. I brought out the riding crop. I put on the outfit to make a joke about the double education. Again, highly researched, factual information, content nobody's made before. I got a little unhinged and crazy during COVID times. I definitely wore a no bra fit flight like thing. You know what I'm saying? Like there's some stuff that has happened. I am not sexuality forward in how I present myself and what I'm proud of. And I would just love for that to be clear. I don't understand how it's not clear.
Perfectly
Next
said.
next
7 out
question.
of 10. Next question. Um, this one's for me. What are some things you should be more sensitive towards? I don't know. This is way easier than your question.
Oh my
Um,
god.
I guess Facebook comments is probably my answer right now. Here's the proof I read the right question. Um, no, things I should be more sensitive towards. Um, hmm. If I had to be more sensitive to, I like to think that my emotional intelligence is definitely one of my strongest skills. I'm very good at interpreting intention over action, right? But something, oh no, that's too egotistical. I don't know if I can say that. I don't know if I can say that, Jen.
You have to. This is substance, the game of substance.
Sometimes I think I'm not sensitive enough to people that are willfully ignorant and don't know they are. There is people that just choose not to get better or choose to stay in the dark about things, and
Yeah.
I see it time and time again, and I get frustrated so quickly. I'm not very frustrated. I'm a very open-minded, even keel person. But when I think that you are choosing to not improve yourself at all, and then and still continuing to do the same things and being willfully ignorant, I get very frustrated fast. And sometimes people just don't understand it, or it's harder in your internal struggle for them to get through it. And I should probably not be mad about it. I can be annoyed, but not mad. I think that's my
Yeah,
answer
I
there.
think I really resonate with that, and we should both be better.
All right, Jen, tell the story of the best day of your life. Oh, that's an easy one. Go for it. Go for it.
Oh man.
Tell them about your
Oh,
wedding day or your yeah. I don't know. They're chickens. The chickens day.
so my wife will agree that our wedding day was not the best day of our lives,
Yeah.
and that's not a hot take. There's just like a whole thing like
We've
behind
had
that
enough
because
hot takes this episode. We've done enough.
we it's because we wanted to elope and we didn't. So that's just the quick explanation for people. So that's not the happiest day of my life. Man, this is really hard. Can we edit out my long drawn out pause? Because I think
No.
a lot of them have to do with. Honestly, I really do like the first day I met my wife. I think that would be a big standout. Um, I hadn't even started my job yet. When I first moved to California, I wasn't supposed to start till that Monday, and my friend Brian and I decided to go down to the Santa Ynez Valley. She lives in a little Danish town called Solvang, near Santa Barbara. So all the celebrities like live out there. And he's showing me like his hometown, and he used to go to high school with Tirza. And she just randomly saw on Facebook that we were coming to town. And she was like, "What's up? You guys want to meet at this bar?" And it's so funny. I remember I pulled down the visor of his car because I felt um, like acne or something. Probably rosacea at the time. Something was like on my face, and I was like checking for it or whatever. And he made this sly comment like, "Oh, you trying to look good for Tirza?" or whatever, like prompting to meet her. And it just really got under my skin like immediately. and I walked into the bar. It's called The Good Life. Really great
Aw.
bar in Solving. And she just gets up out of her chair. You know, she's spunky, you know her. And she
She's
points at me and
full of
she's
spunk.
super spunky. She looks at me and she just goes, "Hey, I know you," and just gives me like a big hug. You know, just like that. She just carries herself with so much confidence, and she looks so happy, and was just so excited to like see us. And I think some people choose to be intentionally like aloof, especially when meeting up with people, and they don't want to like act like the more desperate party. But I really liked that energy of her, of just there was no thought process there. She wasn't thinking about how we were perceiving her. She wasn't thinking about how she was perceiving us. It felt really authentic and just happy. And she had a random friend with her. He immediately starts talking about spider porn. I don't know why, or
How?
sorry, spider
Yeah.
corn.
Oh, wait,
Gotta
what?
bleep that.
Spider corn.
Yeah. Well,
Porn?
I
It's
was
corn. What are these things? I don't
with
know
a
what.
P, but I was disguising it so we didn't have to bleep it the second time.
What? What?
Um,
What? We already
yeah,
censored
yeah,
stuff. I said
exactly.
concept. What are we?
I'm just saying, my mind's blown. I'm so confused. And she and I proceed to spend the whole day just like making fun of this guy. And like we were really bonding over making fun of this dude that was friends with her. And it was just like a really like fun, long night. And she gets us like into this bar with no cover charge because she recognizes the dude from high school. And like it was, you know, it was all these like little things were happening, and I just remember every moment. And I had this panic thing where she needed to go home to get money for the bar, and I was like, "Don't worry about it, it's Brian's birthday, I got it." And she just kept pressing me on it because she lived really close by. And I was just like, "Don't worry about it, I make a lot of money." I don't know why I said that, Nick. I don't know. It's not true.
That
It
is big
certainly
dick
wasn't true
energy.
then.
That is awesome.
I was 25 years old and I said, "Don't worry about it. I make a lot of money," with a straight
Dude,
face.
I want to use that line all the time. You're so right.
And I do think she found that attractive, not knowing I was trying to make a bad joke. Um, like all anyway, so many things. I could just keep going on
That's
and
the
on and on,
best
but
day of
like
your life.
it was just an incredible like just a true like pure meeting of like someone I just had no clue like what she was like, who she was going to be. You know, we didn't meet on a dating site. Not that that's an issue. It's just like we met in an old-fashioned way through friends, and I just really appreciate that and loved it. And the next day she got too drunk and was sick the next day. We were supposed to continue hanging out and she had to bow out of it, and I asked Brian for her number so I could just say like, you know, I didn't get a chance to say goodbye. And she always likes to tell me like that moment I texted her, she felt right before it, she was feeling this like profound loss that
Like
she
she missed
wasn't
their
like around
chance.
me again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I just found a way to like connect to her, and then we started texting for days. She came up to Sacramento and she never went home. And she
A-
just started living with me, and now we're married.
And now there's Milo.
And now there's Milo, and we birthed a Milo.
And we birthed a Milo. That's how lesbian relationships work. All right, guys.
It is. We are a stereotype, and I'm sorry that was so long.
No, it's a podcast. We're here. It's okay. I only have to pick up Alejandro from the airport. It's fine.
Oh my God, Alejandro.
Okay, here's mine. And if you guys can't tell, by the way, these are shuffled all together, but there's different categories. So yours was
Ooh,
intimacy,
vulnerable.
by the way. Oh no, that was mine. Yours was a mind apparently. But mine's vulnerable. What is the biggest regret of your life? What is your biggest regret?
Quite the opposite of mine.
It is. It is the exact opposite. And
Is it also meeting Tirza?
no, that's the best day of my life, man. No, the best day of my life is eating the spaghetti factory in the car. The old spaghetti factory. Biggest regret of my life? You guys won't know. I'm going to use my first veto. I'm going to take the next card
That's a good
here.
one.
I'm going to skip that
understand that.
one. But unfortunately, there's another vulnerable here. What's the craziest thing that has happened to you? That's a better question for me to answer. I think when I accidentally ended up in a PewDiePie video and was in the Szechuan sauce day, that was absolutely like one of the craziest days ever. Very long story short, we knew that the Rick and Morty season 3 Szechuan sauce thing was going on at McDonald's. We were going to try to go to one of the locations, me and two other friends. And what was funny is we were like kind of like half invested in the idea, but probably just going to be lazy 19-year-olds and fuck off and not do it. And what ended up happening was we decided to stop at McDonald's for breakfast because we kept talking about McDonald's so much. And there was a line already forming. This was 7 hours before when we were probably going to show up. We had a whole day of activities planned. We said, fuck it. And we just stood there. And we parked there. I was there with one of my friends, and the other friend drove and met us there. And we stayed. And 250, 300 people made a line around the entire parking lot. News crews were there, and healthy junk food at the time, JP and Julia were there, and we happened to be within the first 10 people in line. Only the first 20 people actually got this freaking sauce packet. So we happened to be in the top 10, and they happened to think I was funny on video, and they happened to make me a key part of their video because then this is pre-COVID times, I let people at the back of the line dip in my sauce so they could try it since they wouldn't have the chance to. And then it really gross in hindsight now that I think about this, for the record. But then a clip of that got used in a PewDiePie video that got like 10 million views. And I will always say, like, if you guys ever look up the JP and Julia second channel Szechuan sauce video, you'll see a 18, 19-year-old version of me that stood in line all day for a sauce packet that I could have sold for over $1,000 on eBay, by the way.
That's so crazy. I think you do get quoted like in the segment, but you're not saying anything like substantial. You're just saying something very like, I like the sauce.
In PewDiePie's video, I was only a face for like 2 frames. In the actual JP and Julia video, they actually had me in, like, I would say like more than almost any other like non-them personality. They had a rant of me as they used me as a transition to like the sauce boss himself, Nickman98 here. And then I said I'll let you guys dip in my sauce and try it. And then they used my sauce for the video. Right. And then I said, hey guys, let's go to the back of the line together. And then at one point I said Julia had a thumbnailable face. because she was doing
Nice.
thumbnail photos. Not like I wasn't trying
That's
to make a sex
amazing.
joke, but it came off like that. Yeah. Anyways,
Good job,
that video
Nick.
exists. All right, Jen. This is your third question, right? Your third and final.
Ooh, okay. Yep.
What was your biggest struggle this past year?
I genuinely can't tell that story, so I'm gonna use a veto on that one. It's
Uh,
too interpersonal.
well, good thing we're going to intimacy next. How is your relationship with your parents?
Oh no! I know
I
I've
just heard
down.
this
I
story
know
in the Buffalo Wild Wings, by the way. I just heard this the other
Nick, I can't. Right? I can't. It's just too.
All
You don't
right.
even know, Nick. You don't even know.
S-
I've danced around this, but there's no way I can go into detail. So I'm gonna. Me. I'm gonna veto again. I'm already
All
losing.
right. Don't worry. This next one's a cop out for you.
Okay.
Who is the one person that has consistently been there for you?
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously my
Nick
wife, but
Teixeira.
how about we
You
it
can.
has to be my
You
wife.
just got back-to-back rough ones. You can take the free one.
You know what? I think it's obviously my wife, but let's say like she doesn't count because that's common sense. If you're not marrying someone who has your back, what are you doing? But
True.
outside of that, it's definitely my childhood best friend and ex-boyfriend, Josh.
Let's go, Josh.
Yeah, he's old. He would. You know what's so sad? He will always tell any new girlfriend or whatever person he's dating that his best friend is a lesbian or sorry, he won't say that. I'm so sorry. He will always tell the new person he's dating that his best friend is a woman, and they press him on that like they're really upset about it, and he won't clarify that I'm a lesbian to alleviate their fear
Yeah,
because he
that's not the
feels
point.
that it shouldn't. That's kudos to him for standing his ground so much and not appeasing like jealousy in that way or prejudice, and like that has broken him up many times. So I feel so I never knew that. He told me that more recently. Which is so quite sad.
Big green flag. As someone that once, when he was younger, dated somebody that made me cut out all my friends and decided to go through with it because of jealousy, and as someone that's typically been in a lot of friendships with women as like my best friend, and my best friend right now is probably watching this podcast, and she is my number one in the world. And if someone ever came up and said, hey, you can't, it makes me uncomfortable, or I don't want you guys to be as close, or I don't want you to do this. No, instead, from day zero, you'll know exactly who's important in my life and what connection they have. And you better accept that. If you can't accept that for no other reason than jealousy, then we have a problem. And now if you think those relationships have problematic connotations, that's a different conversation. But I will end something with someone new before ending something with someone that's important and has been there every time. Shout out Josh.
I'm glad your best friend is chill with me and I'm chill with her, because if she only tolerated me, that would suck, because we're doing a podcast together, brother. This is going, to infinity and beyond.
That's what you thought I just did?
Yeah. Is it not? What are you doing?
You thought this?
Oh, you scissored? What's happening right now? We're not scissoring. We're not scissoring. Platonic best friends. I need to make that clear for the world. Whoa.
Oh, to infinity and beyond. That's gonna be our new thing. By the way, when we see each other, we're gonna scissor and say to infinity and beyond now. By the way, that's yay. All right. Oh, okay. I thought my mic broke. Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
I thought I tore my headphones out of my laptop.
No, I hit my microphone cable. Anyways, I'm gonna select a random card here. What is something someone has said with you that will stay with you forever? Interesting. There's a couple of different answers I could say here. A couple of different ones I could say here. I'm trying to think, not even just from the game perspective, because if I veto, then we're tied, and then it goes down. I'm trying to think of I'm just trying to think of something like actually profound, because there is stuff. I will say this is one that happened recently, actually. So I am going to answer this question. Sorry, Jen, you are a big L loser in this first episode. But you got bad draw.
I got a double whammy.
You are more than just your words. was by far something that I needed to hear, and I didn't know I needed to hear it until the words were said. I've gotten by in my life by being witty and being funny and being quick to answer and respond and rebuttal and be articulate with my words. But I sometimes feel like that is my only ability, and I don't respect the knowledge and base information behind it. I don't have the confidence and love of myself of the other aspects, and sometimes I feel like it's a crutch. So to hear that was extremely validating and truly has reshaped how I carry myself in recent times.
Damn, that's good. Well, I will graciously accept my loss because that was jacked up. I think I'm regretting vetoing the second one, but then again, like, yeah, I just had to.
Look, I want to give you one more vulnerable card just real quick. We're gonna try one
Why?
because I want you to have one that I want you to feel better about one. Okay, I don't want you
All
to feel
right,
bad. What's
all
something
right.
you've done that would disappoint your younger self?
Oh man.
Being gay?
No, that would make my younger self be like, "That's kick ass. I didn't think
Hell
you'd ever find
yeah!
someone or get married. I didn't think the laws were gonna change in America." Um, you know, something I've done. Oh man, I don't mean to be like super lame, but I'm incredibly proud of my growth, and I think young Jen, which was my rapper name by the way, I
Young
think young
Jay.
Jen I think she would be in awe of the person that I've become now because I went from a people pleasing, shy, like cripplingly shy, closeted, insecure. I felt ugly. I mean, maybe I don't think I'm beautiful because I've been told many times I was ugly as a kid growing up in Kentucky, where the Asian population is 2%. And a lot of like women, I think even lesbians still prefer to date their own race. So a lot of white women have definitely told me they're not attracted to me. So anyway, let's unpack that suitcase for another day. There is nothing that I have done in my adult age that I'm not incredibly proud of, like from a youthful lens looking at me now. I think you can actualize change, and what you think is what you can become. Like I believe in all of that, and I know that I'm living proof of it. So I'm so happy to have the right people in my life and my own self-worth growing every day to point me in that direction and keep going. I love getting older. I don't care about the mistakes I've made. What's up?
That sounds like a great note to remind you that you have to make a video of you being a dog. All right, here we go. It is time for a rapid fire pointed question of the day. This one is more about stating our points, brief explanation, and wrapping this one through because we have a good one. What are the 7 deadly sins of running a dart tournament? I have a couple in here. I think we're gonna have some overlap. We did not share these in advance with each other. Um,
Oh,
I'm
I thought we were
curious.
gonna work together to develop the list because I don't have 7. Like, I think this is more your realm. But I know what your number 1 is, Nick. Can I guess?
I might have changed it, so I'm curious to see if you guess it.
Well, I know what Nick's gonna say. He's gonna say the number 1 deadly sin is being over the age of 40.
Yeah.
Or that you're
No,
not a clone, or that you're not a
no,
clone, or that you're not a
no,
clone of
no.
Dustin's story.
Yeah, shout out
That rhymes.
Dustin.
Yeah, number
Shout out
1,
Dustin.
don't be over 40 and don't not be named Dustin Story. Deadly sin number
Um,
1.
all right. I have 7. So how about this? You validate or invalidate these, and tell me if I'm missing
Yeah.
any. How about that?
Sounds great. Let's go.
I'll start off. These are in no particular order, and I'm going to start off with one that I think Jen will absolutely back me up. AI generated tournament flyers. My God, they're all the same, and most of them are terrible and the wrong size for social media. Stop it. I would rather you have your
Also,
ugly ass old Microsoft Paint flyers because at least I knew which ugly ass
for
flyer was
real.
yours.
Yes, throw an Excel doc flyer out there. I don't care, man. But oh, it's horrible. And it's also incredibly obvious. And beyond that, AI generated text is incredibly obvious if you know what you're looking for. I mean, come on, guys. What are we doing? Like, pay some kid in Vietnam or the Philippines to like make your stuff
Big
professionally.
Bangladesh hirer myself.
Dude, Fiverr.com. Hit it up. Two R's. Fiverr.com. Upwork. I don't know, man. Everyone's a half-ass graphic designer these
Mhm.
days. Who doesn't have Photoshop? Like, just hire anyone to do it. A lot of people would do it for free, let's be real, just to get themselves practice and especially
Mhm.
like I would do that stuff all the time as a budding graphic designer, take on stuff for free so I can get practice.
All right, so that was easy. We agree. Literally, bad
Mhm.
flyers are better than AI generated decent. Okay, it's like the AI ones obviously bad, like fundamental, like of layout. There's fine. Like I certainly like at first when they first started popping, I'm like, oh, that's not bad, and then I was like, oh no. Oh no. And now I literally can't tell. I see flyers and I'm like, oh, I can't tell whose blind draw that is. I can't tell what state this is in. And it becomes confusing. At least before I would know the different tournaments by how shitty their different flyers were.
Mhm.
You don't stand out in the crowd. Okay. Um, I have another one here. Number 2, using pen and paper. There's no excuses. Stop it. There's softwares. Please, for love of God, please stop it. Oh my God, stop using pen and paper, please.
Okay, the caveat to this, real quick, there is nothing wrong with having a backup plan. If you want pen and paper backup and you're doing that simultaneously in the
Yeah,
background,
I'm talking about bracket running though. Like, yeah, if you
the
want to
bracket
sit
running,
down,
yeah.
I'm not pen and paper for like writing down stuff and like keeping notes and doing things and administrative tasks is one thing. If you're running your bracket on pen and paper and having physical match sheets and going back and reporting your scores to a physical person, not having digital brackets, there is free software solutions out there. There is paid software solutions out there. There are so many different ways. Unless you're doing a format that can't be done, and this includes even you local blind draws. Unless you're doing like a truly unique unsupported format, just stop it. There's literally so many ways where like freaking Brackalope even lets you have that on your phone. Challenge is free and lets you have it. Lets you send a link to different people. There's just so many things on top of the fact that we're just seeing things like these like tournament king softwares and other things pop up as well. Insane to me. Insane.
I love it. Yep.
Easy. Um, Drinking or doing drugs while running your event. Stop it. That's number 3. You don't need to do it. If you're in charge, act in charge. It might be a party for everyone else. You chose to make pride in something. I'm not saying you can't have a drink, but we all know when I say drinking, I mean drinking.
Mhm. I didn't even know that was an issue. My lord.
Oh yeah.
Ugh.
Smaller events in particular, not every event. Definitely not the bigger ones for sure.
Okay.
But I definitely have seen, and this is especially true at blind draws, right? Like I'm talking about every
Oh.
level of running a tournament here. Blind draws, the local blind draw runner getting crunked. Now sometimes they work for free drinks, maybe that's or a bar tab. But there's a difference between having a drink or two while you're passing the time casually and getting drunk and getting sloppy at running your own goddamn tournament or going out back and smoking when players can't find you. I specifically mean marijuana when I say that. If you smoke nicotine around tournament, whatever, sneak a vape.
Mhm.
Um,
Okay.
Easy.
Number 4.
Playing in your own tournament. I don't think you should do that. I think that there's a lot of biases that can come into play already when you're the one playing. If you're at a local blind draw and you're trying to report a match or get the next round started, but the person in the tournament's playing, so you can't communicate with them, is annoying. I think when you're at these bigger level events, there is integrity-based questions that start to come in line with decision making. I think in general, if you are running the event, you don't get to play in it in any official capacity.
I think that might be the one deadly sin people will give you the most pushback on, but I understand the validity of what you're saying. Absolutely.
I think it's just easier to avoid. I think that's really what it is. I don't think, yeah, it's like, and listen, if you have a 6-person blind draw and you make it even at a local small thing, that's not what I'm
Right.
really talking about. But if you're
Okay.
running those big $1,000 draws or you're running those moderate, healthy blind draws with 32 people in it, where brackets have to
Okay.
run or they'll be there till 4 a.m. But if you're talking
Yep.
like 6 people, I'm not saying I didn't participate in my own tournaments when I used to run them, but every time I went to go play a match, there was someone else in there to move the bracket along. And at that point, just assign responsibilities. If it's not a blind draw and it's a bigger level tournament, there's just no reason though. You don't get to play. You chose that life to run that event. Take the responsibility of owning and running it.
Okay. That's fair.
Valid. All right.
Valid.
Stop believing that same board advantage is a thing. If there's I go to tournaments and stream, and when I hear that a player can't play the semifinals and finals on the same board because they'll give them an advantage of playing it on it back to back when maybe the other team didn't, it's one of the silliest things. I'm not saying like you can't have board variety and mix and match them, but there's not a tangible and quantifiable enough advantage of playing on the same board consistently. There just isn't. You can't convince me.
I did not know that was a hot topic in the tournament running world.
Well,
Interesting.
especially steel tip. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
no, I get that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a steel tip thing more than anything else. With
Huh.
not a fan. No, I've understood. Like I've been at tournaments and been like, board 47's near a light that I don't like. I'm not saying you can't have preferences, but especially when it comes to the live stream. But in general, even like I'm holding a match because I need them to wait till there's a new unique board available. Doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't. Just you play the matches.
You may have other things coming up, but I think the only constructive criticism I'd give you for number 5 is maybe this really needs to be lumped into like, don't let players run the tournament for you. You're the
Oh my
tournament director. You make the
god.
rules.
Oh
Hold your
yeah.
ground. There's a
Uh,
million examples I could think of that fall into this category.
Oh, don't let players run the tournament is an absolutely big one. Um, Actually, bigger than probably these last two ones I have here. Um, Taking signups way too late. When you're taking signups, and again, not talking about your
Mm.
local blind draw. Your local blind draw is a little different. But when you're at especially guaranteed money events, and I see people say, well, someone's on the way, or I know one other person, or the line's still going, and you're taking signups up until start time, and the event then starts later, you're just not being considerate of other people's times. And frankly, what I also will argue is that if you start consistently saying signups close an hour before or a day before, whatever version of the system you have for your specific tournament, you're going to reinforce better habits with having some temporary small pain of losing out 1 to 5 people versus eventually having tournaments where you can have predictable metrics because they're all sent up in advance.
Mm. I love that.
Stop taking
Valid.
money so late. You don't need it.
What is the 7th and final deadly sin of running a tournament?
So there's two different ones I debated about putting here. Um, I think the one I'm going to go with though is balanced bracket progression is an absolute myth. Stop trying to make your bracket pretty. Just let the matches play. Human error will ruin more tournaments than any other possible thing. An internet outage, a power outage. We saw the DPFL with a power outage. Players were still willing to play and chalk their matches. We saw that literally happen. When there's a will, there's a way. But when you go in a bracket and you're putting on hold the second or third round of the tournament because you want it to even out and then let's try to balance out wait times, what you end up doing is having opportunities where you're not paying attention and players sit on holds for significant times, or matches on the loser side of brackets and double elimination tournaments can't play because the winner's match was left on hold too long. So now you have to wait, unhold that match, have those players show up, play the match, then have the set amount of time between the matches that's allowed, then start the other match. When you have a mistake like that, that mistake can cost you hours of tournament runtime. And what I argue is people do it because it looks prettier to have round by round progression. Now, if you want to hold the seat match so you let the losers bracket catch up, sure, I understand that, because at that point the
Man.
delta is really far. But when you balance the progression of a bracket versus letting it play as soon as the board and the opponents are available, what you do is hide the pain of the bracket. Those teams that are taking forever, that are the problematic ones in your bracket, you're letting them be hidden by doing round by round progression. When you let one side go really far and the other one's dragging, well, now I know who's not getting to the board within 10 minutes, and I can go hound them and fix the problem before it gets worse. You make the pain of that one slow team everyone's problem versus just the people on their side of the bracket.
Yeah, I have seen this one in real time without a doubt. So I don't think I need to have intimate knowledge of how to run a tournament to understand the grave consequences of not being laser focused if you're trying to do the balanced bracket progression. So I would agree that I understand the theory behind it and why you would want to do it, but you better damn be sure you're on top of that. And we just see people make mistakes. You, as the person progressing the bracket's going to make mistakes. And you're right, human behavior is way too unpredictable to assume it's going to even out and get prettier. Yeah, I mean, we know this in our bones. Yeah, I
It's just
understand
true.
that fully. I think that's great.
The counter argument I hear is, well, I hate it when I have a very long sit between the seat match playing and then playing the third place match. That's a privileged thing. You get the privilege of getting the seat match and guaranteeing at least a third place finish. Even if you lose it and you have to have a long sit, sorry, that sucks. I guess. But like what happens is when you start talking about these one-off experiences, look at the data. A lot of times the sit isn't that much, especially when you're actually going through and forcing match runtimes in between. Balanced progression is the only argument that you could ever make for a balanced progress bracket. And this is also, okay, there's two arguments you can make. One is always valid, which is sometimes you have to make sure you're being very careful and manual with board assignments when you don't have enough boards versus the number of teams. That's not what we're talking about here, because that's called being board starved. Board starved is a different issue. Let's assume you have an adequate number of boards to matches. Like every match that is in the bracket could be played at any time if the opponents were available. The problem is, you have board starved as one issue. The only other thing is you're running a local blind draw and you're trying to drag it out to keep people in the bar. I don't recommend that. It's going to piss off your players and you're going to lose them over time. But that's the only other reason you would do it, is because it is intentionally slower.
Yeah, that is. Oh, I hadn't heard that. That's a rough one.
Oh, I've seen it. I played in it. I know for a fact that bars will literally say that certain rounds can't start before certain times. I've been there.
You know, Nick, I'm already laughing that if I've been taking notes so I know exactly what the 7 deadly sins are in your exact words, so I can make you an infograph of Nick's 7 deadly sins and then watch the comments flood of people who
Well,
never
just
watched
keep it
this
rolling.
video. Oh my God. Like it would just get bad. You know, they're going to be super defensive coming in and they're going to talk about their own really hyper particular lived experience and why it works for them. And like, it's just, yeah, this one would be real bad.
That's it. I think that covers. I mean, there's other ones there. There was. You could change out some of these for other ones. The drinking and playing in your own tournament, you could combine into tournament owner responsibility. There's not the actual like the 7 deadly sins, but some of these absolutely are like, yeah, generate flyers. That's a fad. It'll change one way or another over time, right? But at the end of the day, if you're a tournament director and you want to get some advice, just don't do those things I just listed, and you're fine. Like you'll do 10 times better already.
I think if it was up to me, I would swap out AI generated tournament flyers because that's just like an ick. It gives me the ick. It doesn't mean that their tournament's going to be run badly. So I would take that out and maybe throw in something else like, what do you think about playing men's and women's, or sorry, open and women's finals at the same time? So then audiences can't enjoy both. The live stream doesn't get to stream both of them. That's a big issue.
I like that one. The other one is like when you have one event running over into spilling over into the next event and you're trying to balance and have players play back and forth rather than just force him to finish the first event. Again, as Gordon puts it, don't play God with the brackets. Let them finish that first event in full. Or else you are going to. That's one of Gordon Dixon, man. He says things that are brilliant, and sometimes
that's
he's
amazing.
Gordon Dixon. But man, it is when I see that, and I see if like major events have struggles where they start letting players play in other brackets, and then you have to try to wrangle them back in. It becomes a nightmare, and it's one of the cardinal sins of being a tournament organizer, and you got to be careful. That's my take on it. I think that's it. If you don't do these things, I hate you and I won't play in your tournament.
And not sending enough matches to the live stream. That's number 8 bonus. There's
one last thing here, Jen, that I'm surprised. We've gone through a 2-hour episode. This is our longest episode we've ever had, by the way. It's almost 2 hours. But I think this has been a great one. And you haven't even said a word about the thing. You haven't even noticed.
I haven't said a word about the thing.
There's one thing that's been happening this entire 2 hours that you haven't noticed, picked up on, or called out once, despite me trying to make it more and more obvious as the 2 hours progress.
Is it Milo licking himself right now?
No, that's just him being a dude.
Jen? Well, I don't look at your monitor, Jen, so is it supposed to be something in your background?
It's my normal water bottle, right?
Oh, that's great. My God. What does it say? I mostly just blind.
This is a Duolingo little guy found. This is a kid's pot and pan. This is plant. This is a vase.
Oh my God. Nick, you think I look at you when we talk? You
this
think I
is
look
a
into
ladle.
your face, into your eyes? Oh my God.
This is a popcorn bucket. This is Frosty the Snowman.
Oh my
and
God.
This is a tea kettle with a straw in it. And I literally was holding it and pointing at it. And not once, Did you look at me and say a goddamn thing? And I want you to know, I bought most of this shit at Goodwill and Ross. I wash these things like crazy. My tummy has started to hurt really bad towards the end of this, and I think I gave myself cholera, Jen. I actually might have gotten cholera doing the anything but a cups bit.
If anyone out there has ever committed to a bit, his name is Dick Teixeira. Dick Teixeira. It's Nick Teixeira.
And that's Point of Questions, episode 8, everybody. It's been a great one here. If you guys want to follow us for more cup-related content, they call me D-Cup because my name's Dominic, and A-Cup because body modification and objectification of gin mounts. Anyways, that was a great episode here. And if you guys want to find out more, we're live every other Tuesday with answering life and Dart's greatest problems. Jen, it's been a good one. It's been a great one.
I'm sorry, I don't pay attention to you.
That was insane. Not once did you pick up on this at all.
I think subconsciously I noticed.
I think I actually have cholera, but I actually don't feel good. There is like a knot in my gut right now, and I rinsed these with boiling water and soap and suds. But it turns out this lantern that was covered in dirt probably had things in it. This is one of the most amazing things I've ever seen in my entire life, by the way.
You just wanted your gut health to get on my level, and I respect that.
Shout out to our number one viewer for recommending that that one. That was a great prank on Jen.
So good.
Wait till you watch this back. You'll see all the times I did it.
You are diabolical, and I see you. I see you. I'm the perfect person to pull that on.
Shout out Jazzy Clark Darts. Yep, I knew for a fact. I told her you would not pick up on this. And folks,
yeah, you should have bet. You should have bet money.
You should be hitting the like button, everybody. If you want more hot takes and hotter answers, watch Hot Ones. If you want to watch us talk about darts and other things, watch this show. We'll see you soon with more pointed questions. Tummy hurts. We're shitting ourselves.
We're shitting ourselves.